Hey, Donnie. Chris Carmen, Sun Devil Source. So after you watched the film,
Yeah.
how did you perform from an assignment soundness standpoint?
Well, I think I talked to you right after the game, and I told you that I had to go look at the tape, and it proved that we made a ton of mistakes. We really did. Yeah. And if we're gonna win this game, we're gonna have to correct some of those. But that's what showed up, and then that's why I said to you I'd have to wait till I see the tape. But we made a ton of mistakes, so we got to get those corrected.
Any sort of theme in that, or a certain area where
It was fundamental things that you work on every day, and in the heat of the moment, guys defer or get a little frustrated, those type of deals. But overall, we were pretty good, but we did make a lot of mistakes.
Coach Michael Caratino, Sideline Sports. And I mean, kind of piggybacking off the mistakes, but I mean, there were some, obviously forcing some turnovers. I know the penalties stopped the touchdown, but overall with the communication with the guys on the field defensively, how do you feel that was for a first game?
We were pretty simple, vanilla, so, we didn't do a lot of things, obviously. So the communication was pretty good. We didn't have a lot of mental mistakes as far as communication. It was more technique stuff. So if we clean up some of those technique errors and keep communicating like we did, I think we'll be a lot better. We would have a better chance of winning for sure. Uh-oh. Craig.
Trouble now.
Come on, Craig. Bring it on.
Spencer Sanders.
Athlete. Extends plays. I'm scared. Really reminds you of that guy from Utah. He's a pretty good athlete, can move around, extends plays, knows where the ball's got to go, makes all the checks, and pretty good player, really.
Do you try to pressure him? I don't want to get your game plan, but you try to keep him in the pocket.
Listen to that.
Maybe I do want the game plan.
I'm a full-out blitz. No. I think based on what I see right now, I'm a little bit concerned about trying. They protect well. They'll sit in 7 or 8 man protection. So if you're bringing guys, with the skill guys they got at the receiving core, they got some athletes there too. So you got to pick your poison, I would say. Down and distance, formations, where the game is headed, how you're playing, one of those type of deals. But I do think you got to mix it up, and to keep them off balance, you can't just sit there and be too conservative and think you're going to beat a pretty good team that's people don't realize that's been pretty good for years. All you hear about is Oklahoma, but they could go up the street, and Oklahoma State's pretty good too. So I'm gonna have to keep them off balance a little bit, bring a little pressure, and play a lot zone, and see how we go from there.
And just to follow up, Donnie, they're going to have some success offensively. How do you keep your guys mentally into the situation where you want them to be?
I think the biggest thing that's besides the quarterback, the other concern I have is the tempo. They're on the ball a lot, and that can become frustrating if I don't get the calls out to the defense. They become uneasy a little bit. So that's one of the other concerns I have is the tempo of the game. So I got to make sure that I'm in stride with them running off, them running on, them on the ball. Those things are going to be the factor, I think.
Ethan Ryder, Sun Devil Source. I talked to you after the game about Merlin Robertson. You said you wanted to look at the tape. What did you think about his performance after looking at it?
I think he played well. He was physical. I mean, you've seen some plays he made in open field. This couple of screens, he made some great tackles, and it was physical, and I thought he played well as far as making the adjustments when motion came towards him. Sometimes he had to get out of the box, sometimes he had to come back into the box, those things. I think he had maybe 2 mental errors. When I think about what they gave me, I think he had 2 mental errors. I don't know exactly what they were, but overall, it's like I said to you after looking at I wanted to look at the tape. Now, after looking at the tape, he played well.
Kevin Redford and House of Sparky. What about DJ Taylor? Obviously, the defensive back room is getting a little bit thinner, and he's got experience dabbling at a ton of those positions. Where do you see him roaming around potentially?
besides playing the nickel?
Yes,
No.
correct. On outside or anything?
No. I think what he's got to do and what we got to do is let him mature and play the nickel spot and come along and understand that what people don't realize, that's probably one of the toughest positions because you're playing their third receiver usually who's their first receiver when they go three wides. So they're bringing him in for a reason. And a lot of passes go to him, meaning the third receiver. So we're going to leave DJ alone. I think he learned some things that you have to get in the fire to really realize how fast people are and how nifty receivers are. So, I mean, it's going to be a learning stage for him, so to speak. But I'm not going to move him, if that's the question. No, we'll let him stay there and let him learn that position.
Going back to the injuries now with Woods not playing, obviously Tamarcus is back and Jordan, we're not sure yet. Concerned about kind of the depth there still?
Well, you're always concerned about the depth, especially at the corner position. You know, when those guys go down, you got to have corners that can run, obviously, change directions. And if their lower extremities are bad, that's a problem. But I'm still happy by getting guys back. Unfortunate for Ed to, first game starting and he gets injured. But
What was his ailment?
I think it's the lower extremity. I'm not sure exactly what it is. But to get TD back should be good.
Hey, Coach, Furtado, son of a source. Having no sacks against NAU wasn't really an issue as far as, getting them out of their rhythm because you were just kind of able to do that just as far as the talent disparity. Is that going to be an emphasis going into Stillwater a little bit more?
Trying to get sacks?
Yeah, just get pressure.
I don't know. Pressure and sacks, two different things to me.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're hitting the quarterback after he delivers the ball, that's as good as sacking him at times. The biggest thing for me is I would prefer to have more hits on the quarterback because you're not going to get more sacks. It just doesn't happen that way. So if you get more hits on the quarterback, that's a plus for us.
Are there any changes that you feel need to be made, or do you feel they did a good enough job and you're just going to try and carry that over into this next game against Oklahoma State?
Well, it's just the situations. Third down, you'd like to see guys get up the field and be a little bit more physical and faster and hitting the quarterbacks. But when it's first and second down, you got to play. You got to play standard defense and make sure you control the line of scrimmage. Now, if we get in those situations where it's third and second and long, where we can, open up the line a little bit and let them run some games, things like that, we'll do that. But I'm more interested on hits than sacks. If you get sacks, great. But if you hit the quarterback as much as you hit the quarterback compared to you might get 3 or 4 sacks a game, but you can hit the quarterback 8, 9, 10 times, and that's just as good at times.
Coach, you told us earlier in the season that when it comes to finding your identity for the defense, it might take a couple games, obviously playing a higher quality opponent this upcoming week. How big do you think this match will be to give you and your defensive side of the ball a better idea of where you guys stand as a defensive unit?
Well, I think it's going to be big. I mean, we're going on the road to play a great opponent, and we'd like to show well, obviously. Compete, be physical, keep the ball in front, try to contain the quarterback, play our style of defense, so to speak. The noise is going to be an issue. Well, it won't be for them, obviously, because they'll be quiet. But the tempo, for me, is going to be the difference, and making sure we understand that. As far as where we're at defensively right now, you're absolutely right. I think I might have said between 2 and 3 games, you start to figure out who you are. And we're still trying to figure that out. I mean, let's be honest. We played a pretty good game last week, and I'll leave it at that. The opponent was the opponent, but we're going to play somebody that you'll be able to measure yourself a little bit when you come out of that game. Let's say we win the game and it's 20-21, I'll be happy. If we win the game, it's 54-53, I'm still gonna be happy. So I'm still trying to find it. I think we're forming the identity a little bit. We still don't know exactly what it is.
Coach Edwards mentioned Sanders' hard cadence as potentially one of the challenges for you guys' defense. You didn't have too many as far as penalties. It's
Huh?
a good
We
game.
gave up a touchdown.
True.
We
but
gave up a
as far
touchdown
as,
when we
like,
jumped off sides.
total
Huh?
volume, right? That wasn't necessarily compared to last season's opener. It was
Yeah.
a lot more improved. Going into this game, what are some of the things that you're trying to really get across to them to make sure that
Just what he
is
said. I
not
mean,
an issue?
we got to look at the ball. We can't be listening to the cadence, and that's what happened to us in the game. Heck, we intercept the ball, take it back, and next thing you know, we're off sides. And those are penalties before the ball's even snapped.
Yeah.
You know, you can't do that. So yeah, this guy has drawn, I think like four. They got 4 offsides last week, I believe. I'm not sure of the number, but I know it was over 3. So I mean, his cadence and his voice, we can't be listening to that. Hell, we got to look at the ball move. So yeah, we took away a touchdown. You know, come on, how many times you get a chance to score in this game? You know, we scored twice, 2, and both of them was penalties. So you know, we got to do a better job of that. Stay on sides. Don't hold. How's that? Let us get to the end zone.